I'm just going to talk about as far as what we have on the inside of us. And we're all born with it. So I'm going to start with something that's simple. You remember when Jesus was talking about the parables of talents? It's coming out of Matthew 25:14-18. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I'm going to get my point across. For it's like a man is going on a short journey, and he called his servants to trust with his property. He gave each one of them a talent to their ability. One he gave 5, the other one he gave 2, and the one he gave 1. Then he went on his merry way. And the one that had 5 talents actually multiplied his once he went and traded and got 5 more. The one that had 2, he went and traded his, and he got 2 more. But that one who had 1, he went and buried his. Now the question that I want to ask you all today, what is the most valuable place in the world? Take a second to think about that. And it is not Africa, it's not Dubai, and it's definitely not the United States treasure. It is the graveyard, because people take their thoughts and ideas to the grave. That is burying your talents. And there shouldn't be a person in here today that don't have something on the inside of them that they could make a living at. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to that point right there. With me, God had blessed me so much that when I was in the military, they used to call me the Black MacGyver. I used to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to tell you some of the businesses that I have. I own Automotive Paramedics, been in business over 24 years. And that is emergency roadside assistance. I have a body shop, and I have an emergency tire company. A couple of vans running the DFW area. And I own it debt-free. And I own Jarvis Power Shot. It's a photography company. You can view it online. Just Google Jarvis Power Shot. It's where we actually take pictures and graduations, weddings, so to speak. Also, I own Scriptures of Life. It's an engraving company where we put Bible verses on glass. And I started that back in 2007. And last, what I'm going to talk about, and we was talking about the filming and stuff, so I was not there with the phone or nothing like that. I'm actually filming this lady's movie that one of the Joe. If you Google her, you know, and it's called New Jar Films. And what we do with that, we actually produce movies of various people that's trying to get started. Matter of fact, I'm starting a series of a lady that came in from California that we're going to be filming her beautician shop. And it's called Paradise in the Salon of Dallas. And it's up in South Dallas, but we're going to start doing that on the 18th of next month. And as you notice, I gave like 5 talents that I have. So God put something into you that you can make it. And it's okay to have a job, and that's good because that's a talent too. But people have stuff within them that they bury. And that is the most upsetting thing, that we don't take our talents and share them with the world, and we just die with it. And some of us are just afraid that people would steal the ideas, or they just don't want to share it with something. And I remember one guy that I was dealing with at one time. He said, I'm not going to tell you. He came up with a perfect idea, but I'm not going to share it with anybody. That brother died of COVID. And he was a friend of mine. It's in the graveyard, and that's where I get that from. So these are some of the things that we have within us, and we need to share with the world. Don't take your talents to the grave. Open for questions.
I like I know you missed part of this one part of you conjured up your brain, your brazen. he could have gave those people a long time ago. And what was put in his spirit from a teacher. Sometimes it's been a leader, overseer, we can damage people by words. Just talk shortly on what a teacher put in your spirit as a child.
Okay.
You overcame that. You'll get a chance to tell her thank you. You'll feel against you now while before you got grown. But that could have damaged you for life.
I can
Be
ex-
careful with our words and we say to people as well.
There's two incidents that happened. One when I was in college, before I went to the military, I majored in automotive engineering. But the one that actually got the pot boiling was, I was a special ed student. And most people put their kids in those grades because they think that they're ADHD. They didn't call it a name back then. But when you're acting weird, all hyper, you go in there. And I remember that I had a crush on one of my teachers when I was in special ed. And I just always used to watch her wherever she go. But I think one time she got disgusted. And she said that you would grow up and you would be nothing. And it seemed like it was yesterday that I actually heard those words. And I had to light a fire. During that time, I had to ask my mother, I need to get out of there because I know that there was something bigger. Once I got out of there, I actually got into regular 8th grade, started doing the work just like the other kids. Started running track in the 9th grade, placed first in state. Track in the 10th grade, placed first in state. I was a high jumper, 7.2 out of high school. And played football in the 11th grade, broke my knee, or however that is. Got second and runner-up in track after breaking my knee. And first place in the senior year, and plus East Louisiana University. And I majored in automotive engineering. Now the next thing that I want to tell you about, I had this idea when I was we had to do a thesis. That was back then in '85. And we had to do a business plan of what we were doing. And I got a C- on the deal. I had an idea of an automotive company that is mobile because, back then everything was huge. But now diagnostic machines are smaller and you can actually take them everywhere. I got one in my H2 out there, So I started my company back in 2000, Automotive Paramedics. And I did good up in the 2005, gotten customers, and I made quite a bit of money. Then I became an LLC, because I had to do this stuff legal. and I wrote that guy back and said that, you remember that paper that you gave me that C on? I'm actually doing it. He was no longer at the university, so the letter was returned. So never shoot a dream down. That's what I'm saying. What's on the inside of you are your talents. Share them with the world.
Share 'em.
Yeah.